So if you're working on a Ford F-250, 9702, I'm sure that's the other one, other models too. Things like 9707, 9407, maybe 99. Like I don't know. It really is any Dana 60, Dana 50, Dana 60 going back. It's got the internal seals. And on the outside, it's got these little bullshit seals that you always see broken. So it gets a bunch of shit, and I mean shit, up in your axles. Mine had an 1/8 inch of like rust scale, and then of course all the grease from the seal that was leaking, which was this side, so we got it torn all the way down. So I want to clean that out. Then I'll make a tool to do it. So if you can find, those axles are like 2.81, I think is what they are. Not for sure, but I do know that this is a 3-inch wire wheel for a drill. I went and got some 1/8 inch rod from the old local hardware store. This did a shitty tack weld on it. Yes, it's shitty. That's actually why I tack welded a second one on. I cut that second one off. And it took a grinder, a running grinder or sanding wheel that was running, and then to put it on my drill and just put it up against the sanding pad, and spun it for about a minute. Got a couple thousandths off of it. Fits perfect now. Look at this jewel. Look at this. Getting every bit of that shit out there. A bunch of degreaser and brake clean, man. We'll have a brand new front end before it's over with. See if I can get you flipped around here. I'll flip around this way. Yes, I know it's wonky. That's why I tried to break the other one off. It don't matter. It works. But at least all that shit's gone out of there, and I'm going to try to keep up on these outer seals from now on. Obviously, I'm not the original owner of this truck. As you can see, these axles are pretty, I don't know if you can see or not. Hang on. They're pretty, get some of the shit out of the way. Yes, that's degreaser, because there was axle grease in it that was leaking. You can see they're pretty. They got a little pitting in there and shit, but we're going to take care of that. I got a concoction of 85% phosphoric acid, 70% rubbing alcohol, and you mix it 19-to-1, and then at a liter of phosphoric acid, 85% will make a gallon of this. It's just like the spray acids that they sell online to stop rust. It stops the chemical process that causes rust in steel, that causes the iron to rust. So we're going to spray that all up in it, and I don't know, I doubt I'll paint it. I might paint it. We're going to protect it somehow. It's just going to rust again. But we're going to do something with it. But that's what we're doing. We're going to try to get this back together. I got the rest of the parts are coming for tomorrow. We got the whole front end of the truck taken apart. Blah, blah. It's all laying over here on the floor. Going to a 6-liter cooler. The 7.3 cooler, transmission cooler is a 9-core. This is a row, I'm sorry, 9-row. This is a 24-row, 6-liter cooler. So I'm going to swap that out because that's how I burnt my last transmission up. After thinking about it, there's a plastic sprag in there, and the housing of the sprag is plastic, and I had hauled a huge load that week. I don't know, it had to have been 12 or 13,000 pounds on a trailer all the way back from Ohio, and when I got back, that's when my transmission did its thing. So, but all the parts will be here tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have this cleaned up enough to get it back together. No, I'm not doing a restoration on it. I'm going to just clean up what needs cleaned up and get it back together. That way I can get it back on the road. I haven't driven it since October. I got another set of springs for the rear, and the plan was to change them both out. But when I got this one in over here, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Grab me that flashlight, Silas. Here, I'll grab it. I'm right here. This spring, after I got it in, it don't sit in here the same way the other one does. There's a little one. So if you look at this thing on this is my old springs. That's how they came out. I didn't cut them apart. They came out like that. That's how fucking broke up they were. But this little thing right here, this little spacer, on these springs, the U-bolt sits up against it. On the new ones, you're probably not going to be able to see, but it doesn't. So I did some research, So post 08 trucks have these same springs, but they're designed a little different. So after putting the other spring in, we tried to get this one out, and the there's little tabs that are on the nuts to keep them from spinning. That way you can get the bolts out. So you ain't got to hold the nut from the other side. It's like self-holding. Well, it broke off on this one. Problem is, the only way to get to it probably is by taking the gas tank off, the fuel tank, which I may have to do anyway. But either way, this spring's got to come out and it's going to get changed to match the other side. Otherwise, it's probably going to crab walk down the road. We can't have that bullshit. So that's what's going on. But anyway, the garage hack is if you need to get in somewhere and wire brush it, weld a rod on it, use a drill. But we literally got this whole front end tore apart. Everything, gears are out of it, the seals are out of it, everything's out of it. I don't know if you can see. That's all the yuck I just slung up in there from the tubes. We'll get all that cleaned out and get it back together. That's the plan. But we can't get it back together until tomorrow because the plastic ramps there's these little ramps. So these seals are inside the housing. So when you put the axle in, there's nothing to center that. Well, there's a ramp that goes in there that guides the axle into the seal so the splines don't destroy it. This is part of it. So it sits in there like so. That way the axle hits it and it guides it, centers it. I beat those out. That's the only way to get them out. So the new ones are coming tomorrow. So I got this cleaned up to get the new ones put back in, so we get the seals in, so we get the gear set back in, so we get the axles back in. And this all started over I've been saving these parts up for a year. I got, spice for everything, $100 ball joints and shit, just because I want to put it back. I just don't want to have to fuck with it again. But when I broke the rear spring hauling gravel for Travis, by the way, Travis's fault, it was time to do all this shit. So we got the new ball joints and the knuckles. We're going to work on that shit, get all this grease and shit knocked off of it. I don't know if we're going to paint them or what. I don't know. Probably not, because I don't want to have a half painted truck. You know what I'm saying? So, but we're going to do something with it. At least try to protect the shit that's that can't break. Try to protect it from breaking. So anyway, and my truck's got a 373 gear in it. There it is. Luckily there wasn't no shims in it, so I ain't got to worry about shimming it, putting it back together. I did mark the caps for it like you're supposed to. So, and the truck's been here about 3 weeks now, so hopefully we get this done, so we can get that done, so we can get that done, so we can get that done. Next is after we get the front end put back together, we got to do the low pressure oil pump seals, and there's a wear ring that goes on the crank harmonic balancer, so we gotta put one on there, a new one. I don't think there's one on it. It's like some oil. But we're gonna put a new one on it. I got all that shit. Got all this shit. Along with the turbo rebuild kit, we're gonna rebuild the turbo on it. That's gonna be Silas's job because he's gonna need to rebuild them. Actually, I think he's about to rebuild a four-wheeler too. So as he's rebuilding the four-wheeler, he can rebuild the turbo. We got a Wicked Wheel 2 for it, so it should help it build a little bit more boost. We're going to do all the tricks to the turbo just the factory turbo. Listen, I don't need to. So I might get a Hydra tuner for it. I haven't decided. I don't know if I want to. I mean, $600, and allegedly Hydra Tune claims they can, with stock components, with the exception of a cold air intake, otherwise stock components, they can get 450 streetable wheel horsepower out of a stock 7.3. So I may take them up on that challenge, just because big horsepower, you never know when you might have to put your foot in it. Never know. This thing actually does good. I pulled that load back from Ohio, and it had to have been. You can ask Travis. It had to have been every bit of 10,000. I bet it was closer to 13 or 14,000, including the trailer. And I cruised at 80 miles an hour all the way home. The problem with these trucks is getting it up to speed. Once you get it up to highway speed, you can just keep it rolling as long as you keep the boost up. Just keep on going. But we're trying to fix all the shit from the asshole that owned it at some previous point that likes to, wire one light through two different holes in the core sport. Then we're dealing with all the shit that you deal with, old stuff, breaking bolts off, but it's a project. We got all the new front end parts for it. They're all laying back there on the floor. Wow, in the plastic. And I think that's all we're doing. Oh, water pump gaskets and seals. We're doing all that shit while I have the radiator out of it. So we're gonna pull the radiator out, might as well do it all. I know if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Well, I got the luck where if I'm somewhere to do something and I don't do it, I put it all back together, I'll immediately have to do it. So I'm just going to do that shit now. But anyway, my she's sick. She's sick. Like sick, coughing sick. She's sick. But we're gonna fix her. We'll get her better. Anyway, the garage hack is the tack weld and wire wheel on it for these Danas. Because there's really no way to stop it. Those seals are pieces of shit. It's a shitty design. They could design a much better way of doing that. The problem is when you turn the wheel, the axle wants to move front to back, breaks the seal, mud and dirt, water and shit gets up in there. And I just wanted them clean because I'm putting all these new seals and shit in it. And I knew if I didn't clean them, the first thing that would happen is a piece of rust would jump up in the seal, and I'd be pulling the son of a bitch right back apart. So, might as well do it. Peace.